On Tuesday, U.S. District Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley ruled in favor of Microsoft, allowing the company to proceed with its $75 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. This ruling dealt a blow to the Biden administration's attempt to curb large mergers. The deal aims to merge Microsoft's Xbox gaming business with Activision Blizzard, the publisher behind popular gaming franchises such as Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush. The ruling means that there is currently no legal obstacle to the merger in the United States, although approval from the United Kingdom is still pending. Judge Corley's opinion stated that the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, had failed to provide evidence that Microsoft's ownership of Activision's games would harm competition in the console or cloud gaming markets. On the contrary, the judge argued that the merger could lead to increased consumer access to Activision's content. The FTC had sought an injunction to prevent the completion of the deal until the agency began a separate process to challenge it in August. However, the judge's ruling has now removed that hurdle. Following the ruling, Microsoft shares experienced a slight decrease of around 1%, while Activision shares rose by nearly 5%. The FTC has the option to appeal the decision, although it is uncommon for the agency to do so. It can also continue with its efforts to block the merger. A spokesperson for the FTC expressed disappointment in the ruling and stated that the agency would announce its next steps in the coming days. Activision CEO, Bobby Kotick, released a statement asserting that the merger would benefit consumers and workers by promoting competition in the rapidly growing gaming industry. This ruling is significant as it allows Microsoft to move forward with its acquisition, which has been in progress for a year and a half. It highlights the complexities global companies face in navigating the varying powers and approaches of antitrust authorities worldwide. Authorities have expressed concerns regarding Microsoft potentially excluding competitors from certain games, specifically Activision's highly popular Call of Duty series. Critics argue that Microsoft's control over this franchise, which is considered one of the most successful ever, would give the company an unfair advantage that could harm its rivals, particularly in the emerging cloud gaming market. To strengthen its position, Microsoft made commitments to ensure equal access to Call of Duty for rival console makers and cloud gaming companies over a 10-year period. The company reached agreements with Nintendo, Nvidia, and others. Microsoft also stated that it offered a similar arrangement to Sony Group, one of the main critics of the acquisition. Analysts and experts have noted that Microsoft successfully emphasized the benefits for gamers and the importance of expanding access to games during the proceedings. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella testified in June, ensuring that Activision games would be available on other platforms. During closing arguments, Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley of the U.S. District Court challenged FTC litigators to explain the direct harm to consumers if Call of Duty became exclusive to Microsoft's platforms. Corley, an appointee of President Biden, pressed for clarification. Regarding the FTC's approach, Chair Lina Khan has adopted a more aggressive stance on antitrust enforcement, challenging the established case law that has favored corporate expansion. Khan believes that courts have focused too much on consumer prices and neglected other detrimental effects, such as reduced innovation and consumer choices resulting from consolidation. Microsoft announced its intention to acquire Activision in January 2022, valuing the deal at $69 billion after accounting for Activision's net cash. While the acquisition has received regulatory approval in Europe, China, and other markets, it has faced obstacles in the US and the UK. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, rejected the acquisition in April, citing concerns about potential harm to competition in the UK's gaming industry. Microsoft is currently appealing that ruling, and a hearing before the UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal is scheduled for late July. Antitrust lawyer Tom Smith, a former legal director at the CMA, expressed doubt that Microsoft would proceed with the deal unless the UK agency reverses its decision. Following the rejection, the CMA issued an interim order that prohibits Microsoft from acquiring Activision without the agency's prior written consent. With a July 18 deadline looming from the original deal between Microsoft and Activision, the companies may need to consider an extension, and Activision may seek to renegotiate the financial terms. According to analyst Sarah Hindley and Bowler from Macquarie Group, Activision is in a better position now compared to when it signed the deal, indicating that a new price discussion may be necessary.